Hey demons, how's it going? Mr. Foster here. I guess this would be for Garrett. Garrett, I hope you had a good weekend and you traveled safely if you were able to make it up to Vale. I know that the weather was a little dicey, so I'm filming this on Saturday and we're getting some rain, but that's about it. But we'll have to see what happens. By now you do know, because by now it is Monday, November 9th. So I do want you to take a look at this warm up in your notebook as far as the juicy question that you're most excited about. So think about, after all of these questions that we've been coming up with for a variety of reasons, we're going to be narrowing it down and selecting which question you're going to be focusing on for your research project for geo-inquiry. So that's what number 2 has to do with, is your inference about what our SDL is going to be. So I kind of actually gave that away. So we're going to be talking about that as we go through. And then, in your opinion, how many sources should somebody have in their works cited in order to fully trust what they're trying to say? So kind of goes along with this stuff we've been seeing in the presidential election, as far as being able to provide evidence to back up some of the claims that people have been saying related to the actual ballots in the election and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in class, but hopefully that'll give you a good base to be able to build off of for today. Okay, so for today we're going to be evaluating a local issue. So last time, if you remember, we kind of looked at the world issues and we tried to bring that local. We're kind of going to do the opposite today, where we're going to go local and bring it out to the world, or even keep it as local. That's okay too. So this is going to be in order to finalize your geo-inquiry question for your summative project. So just as a reminder, here's our geo-inquiry process. So right now we're kind of in the asking geographic questions phase, as well as acquiring geographic resources and exploring and analyzing that data. So we're actually doing a pretty good amount of the process right now. But the main thing we're going to be finalizing is this one, as far as like, what's the question that you're going to be asking? What's your juicy question? So that's the main thing we're going to be kind of finalizing for today. And then as a reminder, I like this image too because it has like your local, your regional, and your global perspective. And here's all like the categories. We're going to be kind of over here in the local for today. Okay, so just to keep that in mind. So if you open up your assignment on It's Learning, you will see that it has that image. It will have our objective for today, and we're going to go down here to part 1. Part 1, let's read the directions together. It says to choose between 3 different issues below. So we've got wildfires, we've got drought and river flows, and we've got water quality in rivers. So those are 3 local issues that we have in this Four Corners region that are some pretty important issues that I am going to give you to choose from. Then analyze the data from the resource to create a juicy inquiry question and use evidence from the map to begin to answer the question. So after you choose which issue you want to do, you're going to highlight it. So you're going to highlight that and make it a different color, so I know as I'm going through this which one you focused on. And then we are going to summarize it down here. So what is the summary as far as what is the issue and where is it occurring? Just one sentence in your own words. Over here, what does the map show and how does this relate to the issue? That one is going to be 1 to 2 sentences in your own words. So after you have a little bit of time to explore that map, you're going to begin the process of analyzing it. So you're going to be able to kind of gather 2 details from this map that relate to your issue. Okay, and then here's the analyzing part. How does your detail relate to the issue? So what? What's so great about this evidence? Why did you take the time to be able to copy and paste or to be able to talk about the evidence that you're noticing from the map? Okay, and just to give you a little hint, Garrett, if you, depending on the map that you choose, for example, water quality, it's going to have some stuff on there that we're not sure exactly what it means, so you might need to do a little additional research as far as some of those ways that they measure water quality. So that's okay too if you do some additional research. And for the last part of this assignment, there's going to be a spot where you can capture all of those resources that you go to. So make sure to keep those tabs open on your computer. Okay, so once you go through, go ahead and hit pause, go through this section, and then we can move on to part 2. Okay, so by now you have gone into uh, part 2. This is where you're narrowing down your options. So on part 2, you're going to just put in what is your juicy question that you came up with part 1. So if you notice here below the chart that you did, there's a spot where you can use this sentence stem. What is the relationship of something to something in somewhere, to be able to create a juicy question related depending on which map that you were taking a look at. So once you go through and you kind of get some information about your map related to your issue, I do want you to have a juicy question. There's a sentence stem that you can use if you'd like, depending on which map that you're going into. Once you have that juicy question, now we're going to go through all the juicy questions that you've come up with so far. So we're going to start on this assignment. So you're going to put in, here's my juicy question that you're just copying and pasting from above. And say whether or not you're excited about this question. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not excited about it, but if you are, why are you excited about it? Do you personally connect to it? When you're heading over there to Vale and you're kind of going through the forest, do you see all these wildfires, beetle kill, stuff like that? That makes it so it makes you think about this topic. If you're doing the wildfire one, for example, or do you like to do some river rafting and stuff like that, that you notice that the water quality has gone down recently? So kind of justify why you're excited or not about this topic. Same thing for the other uh, elements of this part 2. So this is where you're going to go into previous assignments that you've done to be able to kind of copy and paste to capture what your favorite juicy question was from the 2 other assignments we've done where you've been kind of practicing juicy questions. So to be able to access that, you're going to go into resources, and once you click on its learning resources, it'll bring up World History Unit 3, the Geographic Inquiry, and you should be able to capture all of your assignments from either creating a juicy inquiry question or world issues. In addition, I do have a link to those 2 assignments on today's assignment. So on the very first part of its learning under today's assignment, you'll see that I put a link to those old assignments too. So that's where you're going to have your 3 finalists, your favorite one for each of those 3 assignments, to be able to have your 3 finalists. And then we have your moment of truth. Your moment of truth, like it says. Which of the 3 questions above will you dedicate the next 2 weeks of your life to in this class? I'm being a little bit facetious because 2 weeks really isn't a long time, right? But it's still a little bit of a commitment. So I know some people, some high school sophomores are a little bit hard to commit on stuff. So you will be committing yourself for the next 2 weeks. And then below this number, you're going to write the question. You're going to sign your name in blood. Just kidding, in a fancy font, but you don't have to do blood. And your signature means that you agree to give 100% effort to answer and act on this question in the next 2 weeks. So, number 7 here on part 2 is where you're committing to a topic, committing to a juicy question, and getting ready to get started with your research. So go ahead and hit pause and make your decision. Okay, Garrett, hopefully you have chosen which topic, which juicy question you are going to be focusing on. And now we're going to get started with the research project. So if we go back to this part right here, you'll remember that once you ask that question, you're going to acquire geographic resources. After that, you are going to explore and analyze those geographic resources. So that's what we're going to be doing on this part, is starting that process. So let's go ahead and go to this part right here. So like it says, you're going to repeat your juicy question. You're going to list so far what are all the websites that you've gone to for your question. For if you're doing the one from today, which is like the wildfires or the river quality or the river flow, you probably just have one website that you're going to put here. But depending on which one you've done, you maybe have quite a few, 2 or 3 websites. Okay. And then I have a chart below where, like it says, your goal is to be able to find at least 7 reliable sources by our next class. And Garrett, the reason that I'm doing this, I know 7 seems like a lot. The reason why I'm doing this is because the last 2 classes, as we've had had about a half an hour left, people decided to just kind of peace out and just be done. So like I said to the class last time, I said, okay, if you guys are going to stop 30 minutes before class ends, then I need to get you guys more work. So my recommendation is that you stop. Hold on a minute, I got a call. All right, Garrett, sorry about that. So we are going to do 7 reliable sources. I do realize that that's a big commitment, but I'm hoping that you guys will utilize your entire time next time instead of kind of, uh, you know, throwing it in 30 minutes ahead of time. So because when I did go through some of the work that, not necessarily yours, but some of the work that I had gotten from the last 2 classes, the quality wasn't there. Everybody had done everything, but the quality wasn't there. So if we're just going to focus on quantity, then I'm going to add more quantity so we can utilize our time better. Okay. So make sure that you're doing 7 reliable sources related to your juicy question and completing the chart below. Okay. For our last part of this one, for part 3, I did want to share with you that on Google Docs, if you go into right here where it says add-ons, you click on add-ons and you can search for what's called EasyBib. It's called EasyBib Bibliography Creator. So all Google Drive has this add-on on Google Docs where you just go on to add-ons and then it says add or search or something. I forget exactly what it says. Here, let's just go over here real quick to be able to check that out. So you go on to add-ons and it says get add-ons. And this is where I already have it on mine. But as you can see here, it looks like this, EasyBib Bibliography. So that's what it looks like. So please make sure that you have that on your Google Docs. You just need to agree that they're going to like share information and all that stuff. So it kind of links up EasyBib with your Google Docs. And then once you do that, you can go into your add-ons and you can use it and it'll bring up this over on the side. And all you need to do is you just need to make sure that you've got website selected. So you're going to click on the button for website and then you're going to put in the URL. So I just worked on it with the wildfire one. I put in that URL of that map, and I also did the stream data. So for both of those, I went in through here and I added those, and it automatically adds it to your works cited, which is at the end of this document. So, so I think that's a pretty cool feature, and we're going to kind of practice what that's all about as far as creating this works cited using this tool. You also need to make sure to choose MLA as your style. So for citing different things, there's a lot of different areas. You've got MLA, APA, Chicago. We're going to just practice with MLA, but it is important to be able to have a works cited with a project like this to be able to ensure that you can communicate where you got all of your information. Okay, so for each of your 7 sources, make sure that you are utilizing this add-on called EasyBib to be able to create a works cited at the bottom of this document. And then you can go ahead and hit that submit button, get your credit under formative for this, and also be well on your way to our summative project. All right. Thanks, Garrett. Good job. And I'll be seeing you, I guess it'll be on for you on Friday. Take care, Garrett. Bye.